Also, the Dragon Season 3 is finally coming to an end. And after everything that happened in episode 7, the finale is not just another episode. We have Ulf turning against Rhaenyra. Aegon has his dragon Sunfyre back. Rhaenyra is losing control to the people around her. Daemon is still dealing with his vision and his own plans. And Helaena seems to know much more about the future than anyone realizes. So tonight before the finale arrives, we are going to break down the 7 biggest things I think could happen in the season 3 finale. And trust me, number 7 could completely change the way we look at the final season. This is Screen Time with Azhar. So if you are ready, let's get into it. Number 1. Let's start with the biggest one, Tumbleton. At the end of episode 7, the situation has become extremely dangerous. Ulf the White is no longer simply one of Rhaenyra's dragon riders. He is not connected to the green side and he has silver wing. That is a huge problem of Rhaenyra because this war is no longer just about armies, it's about dragons. And once a dragon changes side, the balance of power can change almost instantly. Episode 7 clearly positioned Tumbleton as the next major battlefield. So I expect the finale to finally give us the large-scale conflict that the season has been building toward. But here is the important part. I don't think the battle will simply be about green versus black. The real danger is that the dragon riders themselves are becoming impossible to control. Ulf is unpredictable, who has his own problem, and the green are desperate enough to use anyone who can give them an advantage. That means Tumbleton could become one of those moments where nobody really wins. At the end could be exactly what the finale wants us to understand. The dance of the dragon is becoming impossible to control. Number 2. This might be one of the biggest surprise for episode 7. Aegon's dragon Sunfyre is alive. After everything we thought had happened to him, the dragon returned and had Aegon escape, and this changed Aegon's position completely. For much of the season, Aegon was locked broken. He was injured, he lost control, his own family treated him as a problem, and even his position as king looked extremely fragile. But now he has Sunfyre, and Aegon is dangerous when he has something to fight for. So I think the finale could begin rebuilding Aegon as a serious threat. Not necessarily as the strongest person in the war, but as someone who refuses to disappear. And there is another interesting possibility. Aegon could realize that the people around him don't actually want him to be a king. They want to use him. That could make him even more unpredictable. So don't count Aegon out yet. Because the man everyone thought was finished may have just returned to the game. Number 3. This is probably my biggest character prediction. Rhaenyra has spent the entire season trying to win this war, but winning a war is very different from controlling it. She has lost people she trusted. She has suffered massive personal losses. Daemon has been away from her. Rhaenyra has been dealing with her own guilt. And now even her dragon rider are becoming difficult to control. Episode 7 showed Rhaenyra becoming increasingly desperate for some kind of sign that she will actually win. That desperation could become extremely important in the finale. Because when a ruler becomes afraid of losing control, they can start making decisions based on fear instead of strategy. And Rhaenyra has a very dangerous weapon at her disposal, dragons. If she believes anyone has betrayed her, what is stopping her for responding with fire? That's why I think the finale could show us a darker version of Rhaenyra, not necessarily an evil Rhaenyra, but a queen who is finally realizing that the throne she fought for may cost her everything. Number 4. Now let's talk about Daemon. His storyline has been one of the strongest parts of this season. His vision at Harrenhal have forced him to confront things he normally avoids. His relationship with Rhaenyra has also become more complicated, and now Rhaenyra knows enough to question whether she can completely trust him. That is a massive problem, because Daemon is not just another character. He is one of the most important weapons Rhaenyra has. So I think the finale needs to finally answer one major question. What does Daemon actually want? Does he want Rhaenyra to win? Does he want the throne? Or has he finally accepted that his role is something bigger than simply becoming king? The vision has been pushing Daemon towards something, and I don't think the writers spend all their time on Heron Hall just to leave it without a major payoff. So watch Daemon very carefully in the finale, because his next decision could affect the entire war. Number 5. Now this is where everything becoming really interesting. Helaena has been acting like someone who sees things that other people cannot. Her vision have been appearing throughout the story, and episode 7 only made that mystery bigger. The show has been connected her vision to the larger idea of fate. So I think the finale could give us another major clue about what she actually knows. But I don't think Helaena will simply explain everything. That's not how this show works. Instead, we may get another strange line or image that only makes sense later. And that could become extremely important for season 4. Because remember, this is not just a story about who wins the Iron Throne. The show has repeatedly reminded us that the characters are trapped inside a much larger history. And Helaena may be one of the few people who can actually see pieces of that history before they happen. Number 6. This is the reunion I am most interested in. Rhaenyra and Daemon have been separated emotionally and physically for a long time, and their relationship has changed. Earlier in the story, they looked almost unstoppable together. Now there is a doubt. There is anger, there is grief, and there are secrets. So if the battle brings them back together, I don't think it will be a simple emotional reunion. There needs to be a confrontation. Rhaenyra needs answer. Daemon needs to explain himself. And both of them need to decide whether they are actually fighting the same war. Because the biggest threat to Rhaenyra might not always be Aegon or Aemond. It could be the fact that the people closer to her are starting to have their own plans. If Daemon and Rhaenyra finally started together again, the Black could become extremely powerful. But if they remain divided, the Greens could take advantage of that weakness. Number 7. And this is the biggest prediction. I don't think season 3 is going to completely finish the Dance of the Dragons. The season has been building too many storylines for everything to be resolved in one episode. Instead, I think the finale will probably give us one huge event and then leave us with an even bigger problem. The most likely candidates are Tumbleton, a major dragon confrontation, a shocking betrayal, a major decision from Rhaenyra, or something involving Daemon and Helaena that completely changed how we understand the future. And honestly, I think a huge cliffhanger makes sense because season 4 is going to be the final season. That means the finale has to prepare the board for the last chapter. So don't expect every question to be answered. Expect the finale to tell us who is winning, who is falling, and what war is coming next. So here is my personal prediction. I think the finale will focus heavily on consequences of elf betrayals. Tumbleton will become a major turning point. Aegon and Sunfyre will prove that the Greens are still alive in this war. Rhaenyra will become more aggressive because she knows her enemy are multiplying. Daemon will finally make a major decision about where he stands, and Helaena will give us another clue about the future. But I don't think the episode will end with a clear winner. I think it will end with the war becoming even more dangerous. And that's exactly what makes this finale exciting. Because after everything we have seen this season, the real question is not who will sit on the Iron Throne. The real question is how much of Westeros will still exist when this war is over. So those are my 7 biggest predictions for House of the Dragon Season 3 finale. And now I want to hear from you. Do you think Ulf will completely betray Rhaenyra? Will Aegon and Sunfyre become a serious threat again? What do you think Daemon's real plan is? And most importantly, what do you think will control the Iron Throne when Season 3 ends? Let me know your prediction in the comment. And if you are watching the finale tonight, come back after the episode because we are going to break down everything that actually happened. The ending, the hidden details, and what it means for Season 4. This is Screen Time with Azhar. Thanks for watching and I will see you in the next one.